Well, hello there, YouTube addicts. I'm back again with another commentary because that's what YouTube prefers. If you, however, desire to have a nice experience to go along with those visuals, I recommend you click on the Vimeo link that I've left in the description. Rather than listening to me mumbling about technical details of my quad, you can listen to a beautiful soundtrack that is John Hopkins' remix of Coldplay. I think it's way better over there. But if you prefer to stick with YouTube, here's me talk about the quad that I have fallen in love with, and that is the Rotorama Calypso. The thing is, it's not the frame that makes it beautiful, although it is really well made and it's sturdy. Not that you would want to crash with this long range 5-inch, but it doesn't exaggerate the vibrations from the motors into the flight controller because the arms are really stiff and the whole frame is stiff. Anyway, the biggest thing that I love about the setup is the naked GoPro. So after a long time of me avoiding it because I didn't have a Hero 8, I used my Hero 6 that has been completely beat up, but I've used it for real study, and it has served me really well. I didn't want to risk destroying it, so I just kept postponing it. I did have the Beta FPV back that allows you to easily just solder onto a huge soldering pad rather than just these microscopic pads risking your GoPro. But it's still, I was avoiding it because I have prior experience with ruining, phones and other electronics. I'm not very handy with tiny things. But I did decide to do this with a Hero 8 that was a little beat up. It had broken display, and it was ideal adapt for making it naked. For those who have no idea about what naked GoPros are, they're essentially, instead of having 130 plus weight with the battery and the chassis, you take everything apart. There's no display, there's no battery, it's just the main board and a ribbon cable going to the lens and sensor. And then you put it either into like a classic GoPro looking but much flatter case, or there's a Umagard modification of the Beta FPV. I don't remember what it's called, 95X, like a Cinewhoop style tiny frame where the actual GoPro board is horizontal, and then you have a mount for the lens. I went with the classic flat sail case, but unfortunately the case that's for the Hero 6 doesn't quite match with how the Hero 8 is laid out, so I ended up 3D printing and like butchering it into submission, and I got a case that I can attach to the Calypso. I wish I had more mounts like on my other quads and make it more modular, but for now it's just fixed mounted onto the Calypso. And Why is that amazing? Well, first of all, the Calypso with a lithium-ion 3S that my friend made, because I avoid soldering batteries. It flies for about 20 minutes. I was 15 seconds shy of 20 minutes, which is too long, I would say, unless you're really flying up to a mountain. 20 minutes is a very long time to be flying. But it's not just the endurance that really attracted me. Mainly it was because the thing doesn't make any sound. I mean, I'm exaggerating slightly, but it's so much less noise. It's quieter than the DJI Mini 2 that I just recently acquired, which is already pretty silent. Not up close. I mean, it has a higher pitch sound, but like if you're flying 20 meters away, you can barely hear it. This thing, has a very pleasant sound. With the 7-inch that I had, it also had like a low frequency sound, but this is even quieter, and it makes a whole lot of difference. When I fly big 5 inches, I try to avoid being close to people. With this thing, I was, flying in a city around people, and nobody felt like I'm doing something dangerous. So that's the and also, if you're not sticking with the lithium ion pack that I have is 3,000 milliamp hours. So it is a little heavy. It's definitely not under 250 grams with that battery. It's a little bit over 300. I don't have the measurements, but with a 650, it's still 653S. It's still under 250 grams, and you can fly well over 3 minutes. I don't remember exactly, but I think I was flying 3 minutes with the 450 3S, which is just like such a tiny battery. It barely has juice for anything, and you don't want to push the throttle. Definitely, that kind of kills those batteries. But if you're just cruising, it's great because you can have so many of these batteries, and you get those charged in no time, and then you're ready to have a nice flight somewhere in the open, because you don't really want to crash with those T-motor style mounts. That's what I've chosen for the motors. I've chosen the T-motor 1507, which unfortunately, stupidly, I think there's 2 versions, and one of them has like 1 millimeter longer distance between the screws to hold the props. They have some of their own props that they use, but that's not the standard. So you can actually, with a lot of force, screw the regular props on, which is what I did. But you're essentially threading a new thread, and if you get a crash, it's gonna strip the motor. So don't do that. Don't do as I do as I say. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling. I hope you enjoyed the pictures that I managed to capture with this thing, and I'll see you around next time. Bye.